Hello, welcome to Toastmasters Beta Bay, where we feature speakers from San Francisco to Monterey. My name is Tony DeLeon, and I am the host for today's show. Today's theme is Thanksgiving and gratitude. For me, I'm very thankful to have found the organization Toastmasters. It has allowed me to really connect with a lot of people, and together we help each other improve ourselves. I also have a great chance to listen to lots of inspirational speeches, and tonight I have selected two of our speakers that will speak on inspirational topics. Our first speaker, Dr. Stephen Chin, has been in the front line of healthcare for nearly 2 decades, working in an emergency department. But his recent medical mission to Nigeria gave him some new insights about what it really takes to make a difference in the lives of others. His speech title is Making a Difference. Please welcome Dr. Stephen Chin.
Have you ever wanted to make a real positive difference in the lives of others? Do you feel that you require some special skill or talent in order to do so? Well, that's what I believed, and that's why I became an emergency physician. It's also why I joined my good friend Dr. Ken on a medical mission to Nigeria last August in the midst of their Ebola crisis. I believed that my American medical training and many years of experience in the emergency department would have a tremendous impact on the people of Nigeria. But I couldn't have been more wrong. First of all, we had almost no equipment or tests to work with. So I felt like I was practicing Stone Age medicine. Secondly, all our training and experience were based in America and in no way prepared us for the third world, parasite-ridden land that was Nigeria. Our most common diagnosis was, what the heck is that? We were frustrated at first, but soon came to accept our limitations and just did the best that we could. We packed a lot of supplies and medications with us from the US to restock the clinic. But the only serious pain medication that we had was a little bottle of Vicodin that my friend had donated to our cause. After we unpacked all the supplies, Dr. Ken found the Vicodin and told me quite frankly, "We won't be needing that here. The people here have never seen anything like Vicodin before, and I don't want us getting them addicted." Now, I was just shocked. I schlepped this medication all the way from the US, and I knew that it could be really useful for really bad pain. So I told Ken, let's not be too hasty in dumping the Vicodin just yet. Better to have and not need than to need and not have. Ken reluctantly agreed and set the Vicodin aside, and we continued ministering to the orphans and villagers for the next several days. Now on Friday, an unusually fancy car pulled up to our clinic, carrying a large family with an elderly wheelchair-bound woman. I say elderly because she looked like she was in her 70s. In fact, she was only 50, but the cancer had aged her. Her name was Esther, and she spoke no English, so her daughter, Ruth, translated her tragic story for us. 3 years ago, Esther noticed a lump on her right breast. So she did the right thing and went to go see a doctor. Unfortunately, it was the wrong doctor. You see, in Nigeria, there are a lot of different doctors, a lot of different practitioners. They all call themselves doctors, but their background and training are often highly questionable. Esther's first doctor was a family practitioner who simply cut out the mass and threw it in a garbage can. If he had only sent it to a pathologist, he would have known that he didn't cut it all out. So the cancer continued to grow and soon spread to the left breast. Since her first experience with a Nigerian doctor didn't work out so well, she decided to seek out a traditional healer. And he cut a hole in her other breast and stuck a bundle of herbs into it for a few months, while the cancer continued to grow and spread. Soon her liver swelled up, pregnant with cancer cells. Next, she started having difficulty breathing as the cancer invaded her lungs, drowning her malignant fluid. When she finally started developing deep, aching pains in the bones of her arms, legs, and spine, she desperately sought out another Nigerian doctor who offered her ultraviolet therapy and charged a small fortune for it. By the time Esther came to us, her body was completely riddled with cancer, in more pain than ever, and barely drawing enough breath to speak to us. After we heard her tragic story and examined her, Ken and I both knew that her situation was grave and that there was nothing that we could do for her. Ken solemnly told Ruth, "I'm afraid your mother's going to die and may only have a few weeks left. There's nothing that anyone can do, even in America, to save her at this point. All we can do for you now is pray." Ruth sobbed as she translated Ken's words to her mother. But strangely enough, Esther remained calm and even smiled, looking almost relieved. She told Ruth, "I'm happy to be with God soon and free from my pain." So then we prayed with her quietly. And afterwards, as she was preparing to leave, I told Esther that we had something to help her at least ease the pain. She was overjoyed. And the whole family thanked us and blessed us as I handed Esther our entire supply of Vicodin. In the end, it was not our knowledge or our training that mattered most in Nigeria, but our love and faith. You see, you just can't save everyone. But if you try your best and it comes from the heart, you still can make a difference. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for that inspirational story. Dr. Stephen Chin, can you tell us which clubs you belong to?
I belong to two clubs, San Mateo Toastmasters and San Mateo Storytellers.
Oh, San Mateo all the way. Can you tell me how long you've been a Toastmaster?
About 11 months now.
Oh. What brings a doctor to Toastmasters?
Well, I've always been good in talking to people one-on-one, but public speaking has been my weakness and a fear of mine.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We're going to hear from your evaluator in a moment here.
Thank you.
Thank you for that speech. Stephen Chin. Evaluating Stephen Chin's speech, please welcome from Stagecoach Speakers 525 Market, Andy Gimenez.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Dr. Stephen. Thank you for that wonderful and inspirational speech that you just shared with us. The objective of your speech, of inspiring your audience, is to motivate an audience to improve personally, emotionally, or spiritually, and rely on emotional appeal. And I definitely think you hit that one real well. In the story that you presented to us, from the start, you engaged us by asking, how can we make a difference in the world? And in your case, how you did it. And then you took us on that medical mission in Nigeria, and it really felt like we were a part of each day that you had described to us, especially during that moment of prayer that you had with Esther. And last but not least, what made that story so well is that you had appropriate hand gestures and you had the right pace to let us soak in that story as you had described it. Now, I did mention you inspired us, for sure, but there is one opportunity to make us real inspired from that speech. And what you had taught us is that it's all about heart and emotion and not necessarily about our talent. I think a call to action to tell us, hey, you can make a difference in the world. Whatever talents that you have, that you can bring to the table, it's not all about just your talent. It's the heart and the emotion that you can bring to the rest of the world that can make the world a better place. And Stephen, I think you hit that one in the ballpark. And again, I want to thank you for sharing that wonderful story. And I look forward to hearing your next inspirational speech. Tony the Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Andy. It's a Toastmasters Beta Bay tradition to visit with one of our over 270 clubs here in District 4. Today, we will visit with Redwood City Orators.
I'm a member of Redwood City Orators, and we meet at 7 a.m. on Friday mornings.
Well, our club does have a theme, and it's called Dare to Speak at 7 a.m. So we dare people to come and speak at 7 a.m.
And the fact that we meet at 7 a.m. in the morning is, for me, a really helpful thing because it means that it never conflicts with my day.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to our meeting this morning.
Well, there are many different club cultures, and before I decided on taking up Redwood City Orators, I had actually visited several other clubs to see how their culture fit in with me, whether it was the time, the location, the group of people, the type of camaraderie that they had. That was important for me.
This is a community club as opposed to a business club, so therefore the topics are much broader.
Sarah Palin recently finished her book, and she entitled it Going Rogue, An American Life. Now, why do you suppose she chose that particular title for her book?
I love this. It's like family here.
Well, I certainly think that we are free to choose topics that might be considered sensitive in other environments. But because we know each other well, we feel free to express those kinds of things without concern about criticism.
We also thought that the world only was around for 4,000, 6,000 years, not long at all, and it was created for us.
Our second speaker this morning is David Ammon. And this is a non-manual speech, David?
As is the rule of our club, if you do have a non-manual speech, it is up to the evaluator to decide what you're going to be meeting as an objective. I got fed up one time with people who were just doing non-manual speeches. So I decided at the last minute when I was an evaluator for somebody, I thought, okay. And so I stood up and I said, well, so-and-so is going to be giving a speech today, and I'm their evaluator, and these are their objectives. And before I knew it, everybody else who had to evaluate a non-manual speech started following what I had already decided to do. So it's become a club tradition. And what that has done is actually brought people back into using manual speeches.
I was dating a lady and she was a member and we were going out together, and she said, I'm going to Toastmasters and you're coming. I didn't have much choice in that.
Well, I had decided finally to start my business again and realized that I needed to, A, have an outlet that was helping me focus on presenting my business, to improve my presentations, and then also to keep me busy. So I decided, well, let's try Toastmasters.
My wife, Carmel, had been with the club for about a year, and she suggested that I join, and it seemed like a good idea, and so I just went ahead and joined Toastmasters at that point, and I have never looked back. I really, really enjoyed this experience.
Congratulations for the best answer to that question of it.
By the way, I did marry her, and she's now my wife.
Welcome back to Toastmasters Beta Bay. Our next speaker is a distinguished Toastmaster following a dream a dream which began way back in his home country of Trinidad, West Indies. He is a past district governor who represented our district twice at the regional level of the International Speech Contest and once at the semifinals of the World Championship of Public Speaking. Please join me in welcoming Henry Miller with his speech, Follow Your Dream. Follow Your Dream, Henry Miller. Thank you.
Mr. Toastmaster, guests, fellow Toastmasters, can you recall a time in your life when you felt like you had a brilliant idea, one that could possibly change the world? But just as you began to reach for that dream, along came the expert, Mr. or Mrs. Always Right, to show you every little thing that could possibly go wrong. And although you felt in your heart that you were right and the rights were all wrong, what did you do? Did you follow your dream or did you surrender? I could tell from the smiles I see here today, you too surrendered. Why? Because those experts were able to convince your parents, your friends, even your pets, that you were going crazy. And somebody had to save you. So now you're saved. Hallelujah. And everybody's happy. Until late one evening, you're telesurfing and you stumble on this television program called Shark Tank with some smarty asking for $500,000 for 10% of his business. Your business, your bright idea. And you begin to scream, claiming he stole your dream. But lucky for you, the voice of reasoning appears, your spouse, to ask, well, did you have a plan for that dream? And to remind you that dreams do come true in Disneyland. If you don't have a plan. You see, in your dreams, you must see the possibilities. You've got to wake up to make it happen. You've got to follow that dream, not only on Twitter, but also with your heart, soul, and every one of your thoughts. One of the most common excuses we all give for not following our dream is life. Life always seems to get in the way. But the truth is, sometimes we are quick to surrender to the comforts of the life we know, rather than face the challenges of following our dreams. And when the fun is over and it's time to get serious, to make a living, that's when we go from it was too early to now it's too late. But I'm here to tell you today that it's never too early or too late to follow your dream. I began following my dream way back in my home country, in Trinidad, in kindergarten. My dream was always to be a speaker and a traveler. And I will always remember with gratitude Sister Philomena, who every day at 2 o'clock will make us close our eyes, put our heads on the desk, and travel to wherever our hearts desired. And I would always head for the land of the free and the home of the brave. And when I would tell my buddies that I saw the spacious skies, the amber waves of grain, just like we sang in the song, they would tell me, you're crazy, get out of here. But it never stopped me. I kept on dreaming. You see, I believed in Sister Philomena, who always said, if you can dream it, you can make it happen. Little did I know, all Sister ever wanted was just a little peace and quiet to possibly enjoy the only vice she ever knew, a two. And then there was Mother Superior, whose report card always read, Henry, good student, talks too much. Yes. But that too didn't stop me. I kept talking and talking until I discovered Toastmasters and became a speaker, following my dream, enjoying the pleasures of 6 figures for some of these gigs like this one here, all zeros. But believe me, when you're following your dream, the rewards are priceless. So how about you? Are you following your dream or someone else's? Are you two still listening to Mr. and Mrs. Right, telling you that you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, it would never work? Put a plan together and start living your dream. If it's to be a dancer, put a plan together, start dancing. To be a writer, put a plan together, start writing. Whatever it is, take the Nike approach, start doing it with a plan. You see, the plan is the glue that will make you stick to that dream until that dream comes true. And in time, you too will come to realize that there's just one Mr. or Mrs. Right who will always make your dreams come true. And that Mr. or Mrs. Right is you.
Wow, Henry, I feel really right now. Henry, can you tell me how long you've been a Toastmaster?
Long enough.
And I know you are a member of several clubs. Can you mention a few of them?
Yes, Point of Order, Next Step Toastmasters, Surf City Toastmasters, and SCO, Santa Cruz Orators. That's my home club.
Your speech is very inspirational. You talk about writing. To new Toastmasters, how do you find a topic?
They are all around us. If you just observe your environment, and honestly, I have gotten some of the best topics from kids, speaking to kids. They say the darndest things. Remember Arden and Cleta?
Oh, yeah.
I'm dating myself here.
And Henry, I know you have many dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And today, I know this is a product of one of your dreams.
One of my dreams, yes. To be a speaker and make 6 figures. Not
All
all
zero,
zeros.
zero.
Not all zeros.
And just to let the audience member know, Henry is one of the founders of this show, which starts. And we're still very successful at having you. So thank you very much.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Let's hear from
Doing
your
a great
evaluator in a
job.
moment. Thank you. Evaluating Henry's speech is a distinguished Toastmaster from Foster City Toastmasters and San Mateo Storytellers. Please welcome Robert Tang.
Hello, Tony. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Henry, you spoke about my favorite topic, dreaming. Because in order to dream, at least in my case, I need to be asleep. And I do like sleeping. But I do like waking up to a good dream. And what you spoke to us is about your dream, about how you should follow your dream. But before I get to that, let me give you good feedback on what I always look for in a speaker. Is first, did the speaker pause a little bit before he or she starts speaking? And you certainly did. And what is the speaker's opening line? You started with a question, which is very appropriate. You asked about life, a brilliant idea that could change the world. Have anyone had that idea? So you kind of got us thinking. And it got me thinking, okay, well, Henry is talking about his dream. And I was wondering, well, what is his dream? And you didn't really disclose that, which I thought you should have done in the beginning, that your dream is to be a speaker and a traveler, because that's your message. And it's always effective to kind of let that out a little bit earlier in your speech, as opposed to a little bit later. And you also focus on being a speaker, that you're a Toastmaster. I would like to hear, okay, that was your dream, to be a speaker. Let's hear about some of your success, which the Toastmaster did during your interview, which you have won in competition. But you should say that. So you lived your dream as a speaker and you had some success. You brought up traveling as a traveler, and I was waiting, okay, what's your dream with traveling? You kind of push that aside. But it's okay. You replace that with some characters in your stories about how you were back in Jamaica. You had Sister Philomena and Mother Superior to help kind of guide you to who you are today, which is nice because part of an effective speech is to have stories, to have characters, and you certainly brought that to our attention. And so and you kind of lift up by adding examples of dreams, which is you could be a dancer, a writer, but you just have to put a plan. That was your key word. And I took that as the success of fulfilling a dream is to have an effective plan. With that, your next speech is, what's the plan that helps you fulfill that dream? I'd like to hear that. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Robert, for that evaluation. Welcome back to Toastmasters Beta Bay. If you want to learn a little bit more about District 4 Toastmasters and our clubs, please visit d4tm.org. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Toastmasters as an organization, please visit toastmasters.org. Toastmasters is a place where we can all learn from one another, and we will all be thankful for the experience that we give one another. I'd like to thank all of our speakers, Henry Miller, Dr. Stephen Chin, and our evaluators, Andy Gimenez and Robert Tang, for participating in today's show. Look for us at d4tm.org, and if you have an idea for one of our shows or want to participate, please contact the information that's in the website.